Hi, y'all. It's Ron in the Y'all 1067 studios. Today, Sammy Sadler's with us. How are you doing?
Man, I'm good, Ron. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, this is going to be a good weekend, right? You got a show at Chiefs coming up on Saturday.
Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
Tell me about the show. So 8 o'clock, Chiefs, we know that much.
Yeah, well, I've put this thing together with me and Dave Gibson called the Hits and History Tour. And, we're really just kicking it off right here in Nashville. We kind of put it together late in the year. So this is really kicking it off here. Saturday's my birthday. So we're going to celebrate. Yeah, thank you, man. We're going to celebrate it, and there's no telling what we're going to say or do, because this is our first show. So I don't know what you're going to get.
Well, it's going to be fun. One way or the other.
Fun.
It's going to be entertaining. Yeah. Great music. You're going to have a good time at Chiefs.
Absolutely.
And this is your first time playing Chiefs, right?
It is. It's first time downtown. I say downtown. It's been a while since we played downtown, but it is my first time at Chiefs, and I'm excited about it. I heard it's a great place.
It is a great place. That stage is great. That venue is great. So you're going to enjoy that.
Absolutely.
The crowd's going to enjoy that. They can still get tickets, right?
Yeah, they can still buy them, there at the door whenever they get there. So if you hadn't got tickets, come on down and see us.
Okay. Well, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about Sammy, the youngster, getting into the business, kind of going back to like 89, right?
Yeah, but even before that, I mean, as a kid, my mom and dad said that, when I was like 2.5 years old, I pulled myself up to the record player that they had, and I'd sit there and dance with the music. So I guess it's really been at me at a young age, But as it got older, and got into middle school and stuff like that, then I was a big Elvis nut, man. Yeah. I mean, I loved Elvis when I grew up, And as I got a little older, then I heard some country music like Merle and Marty Robbins and George, all the greats, and got into that, and then we put a band together in high school like some people always do and played some of that stuff. And then my mom and dad take me around to, some of the Opries in Texas, Oklahoma. Then I ended up getting to play the Louisiana Hayride. Got invited back to play the Hayride. So, that's how we really got started. And I just loved country music, man.
So you grow up around the music. You love it. You decide you want to do it for a living. You get on stage. It kind of gets in your blood.
Yeah.
And then when do you decide, okay, I need to be in Nashville. I need to take that big step and get on the radio and go at that approach?
Well, as I was telling you about doing the stuff in high school and playing, at that age, when I got ready to graduate, well, I had to really make a choice whether I was going to play baseball or choose music. I excelled in baseball. And, it was hard for me to choose, but like you just said, man, when it gets in your blood, it's just something that it pulls on you, and I ended up choosing music and came to Nashville kind of right out of my graduating out of high school in 1984. I think I got here in the winter of 84 going into 85 and ended up getting a record deal within 7 or 8 months of being in town. And that's kind of unheard of back in those days, even though it was an independent deal, we still got a deal. Yeah. And, that's kind of how it all began, about the end of 84 going into 85.
And what a great time, because you've got George and Reba and Alabama and all these people just really, catching fire at that point. Yeah. And you're on that cusp. And I mentioned 89 just because there's so many, big country artists that came out of that time frame. Mm-hmm. Look at 87, 88, 89, 90. Tons of them that we play on y'all every day. It's amazing that the longevity of not only the music, but the artists has been great.
Yeah.
So, but you've got, different parts of your story. It kind of diverged at one point and kind of took a weird turn. So you wrote a book about your life.
I did.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, from 85 to 89, when I was recording for Evergreen Records, they wouldn't put out an album on you right then. They just put out singles, kind of see how your records would do. So from 85 to 89, I had 6 nationally charted records, which my 6th single that was out at the time was the old Aaron Neville song, Tell It Like It Is, and that was my fastest rising single. So they were kind of rushing us in to get the album going, and I became friends with Kevin Hughes, that was a chart manager for Cashbox Magazine at the time. Back in those days, Cashbox was a rivalry to Billboard. Right. And him and I had been friends maybe 7 or 8 months, and my record was out at the time, and it just so happened to be we got together one night. I didn't even know I was going to see him, and Kevin was shot and murdered. I was shot and left for dead, and it went around the world as a Murder on Music Row in 1989.
Which that is a story that everybody in this town knows.
Yeah.
but it's it had such a huge impact on obviously your career, but really on the city.
Yeah.
And then you stepped away for a little bit for a time.
Well, at the time, I didn't know how bad I was injured the night that I got shot, but it ended up severing the main artery in my arm. They had to graft an artery out of my leg and put in. If they hadn't done that, and they hadn't took it, it cut my arm off. Mm-hmm. So, I had to go through that. Then I had to go through a second operation and have some nerve repair done. And, I just moved back to Texas at the time to recuperate and just to get back to my roots and my family. And I just ended up staying in Texas and not moving back to Nashville. But I traveled back and forth to Nashville at times when we're recording and doing things. But it was just it took a toll on us, on me and my family. And I can't imagine what Kevin's family had to live through, losing their son, a brother, and a family member. Yeah.
So going back to Texas though, to recuperate, to kind of reset everything. Yeah. But you've had great success in Texas through this period of time.
Well, I've never left the music business. I did step away from it a little bit, because I had to live 13 and a half years of my life wondering if somebody's still trying to kill me, what it was all about, because I didn't know. Yeah. And, as you well know, and if you've listened to anything or read anything, the Nashville Police Department tried to implicate me like I had something to do with this. Right. And it's crazy to be treated that way when you're sitting here living,
you're bleeding,
you're dying yourself and don't even know how bad you're hurt. And I mean, it really hurt me for them to treat me that way and to put me through that. I mean, I took a lie detector test. I went to Vanderbilt. They had me hypnotized, sitting right behind me on a couch, and that, I've never been hypnotized in my life. So I mean, I didn't know anything, and they didn't even believe I was hypnotized whenever I got through. And they asked him, said, "Man, was he hypnotized?" And the professor said, "Well, absolutely he was." And the only thing that I told him any different than what I'd already told him is a guy had on a heavier jacket. And man, it's been rough, to have to live through that. And I feel like the police may have made Kevin's family feel that I had something to do with it, implicate me in it, and it breaks my heart. Because I know I didn't. God knows I didn't. And I'm telling you, if Kevin Hughes was here today, he would tell you, y'all are wrong. Yeah. So it's been rough.
But what a life-changing event.
Yeah.
Not only your life, your career, everybody's lives.
Yeah.
And still, I mean, all these years later, still talked about among the industry and in town. I mean, books have been written, and not only yours, but others. Yeah. Yeah. So it's still a topic of conversation and wonder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sad that had to happen, not only to Kevin and myself, but I mean, they want to shine the light on Cashbox, and because it was Cashbox or the independents, I mean, I'm kind of a tell it like it is guy, man. I mean, I this industry, it's how careers are made. It's all about money and politics. And, just to shine a light on the independent or to shine a light on Cashbox, I think that's wrong, man, because, you know how careers are made. You know what happens. And, it's just sad that Kevin Hughes had to die being an honest guy, wouldn't take somebody's money and take their bribe,
Right. But moving on from that, you've got new music out.
I do, man. We're like I said, I never left the music business. I've been out touring, been out doing things. COVID hit, all of that, really brought us to a halt. Really back in 2015 to the beginning of 2018, I was doing a tour with myself, Ken Mellons, and Jeff Carson, and we were out working and doing some stuff. And then COVID hit, everything shut down. So now we're trying to get back out and put some new things together. The deal with me and Dave Gibson, the Hits in History tour, that's what we're putting together now. And we've got brand new music, got a brand new album, got a brand new single out right now that I think you've got.
We
do, man, I hope you guys will give it a listen and give us some play on it. I think we got a really good cut on it.
So tell me about it. If I Had a Cheating Heart, it's out.
Yeah.
And, it is the classic song with your take and your spin on it.
Yeah.
So what made you go back and say, this is a song I want to revisit and put my take on it?
Well, there's songs, if they're 20 or 25 years old, you can go back and redo them. And there's so much great music from that era and on, and I mean, there's I call it, this is my new record, and it is a new record.
Absolutely.
But it's still, somebody sent me a message the other day. Well, you say this is a new record, it was blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, it was. Ricky Lynn Gregg had it back in 1993 on his album, and that was his single that took off. And, over the years, me and Ricky's become friends. And, I just loved that record, and I loved that song from whenever Ricky put it out, and we did it in our live shows back then. And I've always wanted to do it, so we put it on the album. And then I found out that Mel Street had it back in 77 or 78. Mm-hmm. So, that song's got a long history. And, I hope that we've captured the magic on it, and maybe it'll resonate with anybody that might hear it,
Well, I listened. I loved it. I thought your spin on it was really cool. Going to get to hear that on Saturday.
Awesome.
Yes. You're going to get to play that. Tell us a little bit more of what people can expect at Chiefs on Saturday.
Well, obviously with my music, I'm going to be doing you some songs from the 90s, that era. And I'm also going to be doing some stuff off of my new albums and my music. So it's just going to be a mixture of some of the songs that I loved back in the 80s and 90s, and I'm going to mix it with some of my original stuff. And then obviously Dave, Dave is one of the historic writers, man. I mean, he has written so many songs, and I'd forgotten how many songs and things that he had written, man. But he's wrote Jukebox in My Mind for Alabama, If It Don't Come Easy, Tanya Tucker, Ships That Don't Come In for Joe Diffie. I mean, it just goes on. And just what an awesome, talented guy Dave is. And I was doing a thing this morning, and I'd forgotten, that whenever I came to town, the first people that was pitching me some songs was Silver Line Gold Line, and that ended up being the Oak Ridge Boys Publishing Company. And I was like 18, 19 years old, and I had to go over there and pick up the music, So I went over there, and I don't remember if I rang the doorbell or knocked, but they opened the door, and here's this guy with long hair. And I said, man, I'm Sammy Sadler, and I'm over here to pick up some music. And it was Dave Gibson. Oh, yeah. And it's just a full circle thing coming around here to be able to play with him and share the stage with him, and him being one of the first guys that I met, going around to get songs. It's just kind of ironic, man, how it's all coming together.
It's kind of fun when that all lines up.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Kind of just meant to be.
Yeah, it just seems like it.
So how's the best way to stay in touch? Social media's website?
Yeah, I tell you, man, Facebook, I've had a time with that, man. We've lost our Facebook page about 3.5 years ago. I don't know if y'all have experienced it, but
we have. Yeah.
I had a Vietnamese guy take mine over, and he's got my picture on my blue check mark. But if you scroll down, it comes to all of my stuff, and we've sent documentation to Facebook. We've done everything we do. Had attorneys, they can't do anything. Nobody will respond to nothing. So we've had to go start another Facebook page. I lost 17,000 something followers. Wow. So we've had to go start another one. So if you want to follow me there, go to Sammy Sadler Official Facebook. Go to my website at sammysadler.com, Twitter, TikTok, whatever all that stuff is, But if they want to follow me, be sure to go to sammysadler.com and Sammy Sadler Official Facebook.
Perfect.
And like you mentioned a little earlier, my book, A Hit with a Bullet, it's out. If they want to get an autographed copy, go to my website and get it there. We'll autograph it to you. And if if you're not a big book reader, you can get it on Audible, Amazon, or whatever.
Perfect. And then the show Saturday night, tickets still available, Chiefs.com.
Yes.
You can pick them up there.
Yep.
It's going to be a great night. It's going to have a lot of fun, and downtown Nashville is going to be the place to be.
Yeah, man, and it's my birthday, so if you want to come out and celebrate my birthday with us, y'all come out, and the show starts at 8 o'clock.
Perfect. Well, Sammy, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Ron, thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate it.